What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Benchwarmer Sports and a little bit of a new format that I kind of want to try out with the post-game reaction to a Cleveland Browns football game. This is the post-game reaction show. Kind of just want to give you guys my thoughts and kind of see what you guys think in the comments section below and see if we could get a more interactive stream regarding the Cleveland Browns. I know that there's going to be a lot of other shows out there. They're going to be doing the same thing. But want to talk about the Cleveland Browns because my God, today was a doozy. The Cleveland Browns currently right now as I'm streaming this, there's about 47 seconds and counting left in the football game. Dillon Gabriel was able to go in there for a series and led the team to a touchdown. And the Browns are going to lose this game 41-17. And the final score really doesn't tell you the tale of the game. The defense for the Browns played a lot better than what the score suggests. At least they played well enough in certain areas. The defensive line, outstanding. Mason Graham looks good. Myles Garrett, as usual, looks good. The defensive line looks fine. It looks great. Carson Schlesinger, Devin Bush look fine. Linebackers look fine. Denzel Ward looks fine. He was out for a little bit because of cramping. He came back in though. But my God, the two guys that, at least, or three guys, I should say, that stuck out to me in terms of how bad they were Myles Harden, Cam Mitchell, and Greg Newsome. The Browns have a problem at slot corner. They just have a horrible, horrible problem at slot corner. Myles Harden and Cam Mitchell are just not good cornerbacks in the NFL. They are not good players. And you knew going into the season with MJ Emerson going down, that the Browns are going to have to rely more on Greg Newsome. And today it showed you that Greg Newsome got cooked by Zay Flowers pretty much the entire second half. I mean, that second half, Greg Newsome was just absolutely decimated by Zay Flowers. And the Browns have a lot of things to work on defensively in that backfield because Denzel Ward is great. Greg Newsome is a good, not great player. Myles Harden and Cam Mitchell are not NFL quarterbacks or cornerbacks. They're not NFL cornerbacks. So I don't know if they can get a guy off the practice squad. I don't know if they can get somebody. I don't know who. But somebody needs to step up into that nickel corner role because you watch that one touchdown. I don't remember. It was Montez. It's whatever rookie that the Ravens have. But he was running a slot fade, and Myles Harden or Cam Mitchell, whoever was in there, I think it was Myles Harden. Myles Harden just lets him go. He just runs right past them, goes to the corner of the end zone. Lamar Jackson just drops a dime. It's a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. It was way too easy. And that was the problem the entire game, was that the Browns have an issue in the backfield on the defense to where these quarterbacks are just going to be able to feast. And this was the concern going into the season, was the nickel corner position. It's going to be a lingering issue the entire rest of the season, and I think that this is probably going to be something that's going to have to be addressed in the draft, and it's going to be a thing that the Browns are just going to have to deal with throughout the rest of the season. Offensively, we'll get to Joe Flacco. Today, probably, I would say outside of the Houston Texans game in the playoffs in 2023, this was probably Joe Flacco's worst game as a Cleveland Brown. Just did stuff that was inexplicable. The interception that he threw in the third quarter, you're an 18-year veteran in the NFL. Why in God's name are you throwing that football? Why in God's name are you throwing that football? You can throw the football out of bounds. Still not good. But why in God's name are you throwing it into double coverage where Nate Wiggins is right there and he takes it 60 yards? That one was inexplicable to me. Okay? I don't understand how or why he threw that ball, but you're an 18-year veteran. You'd think you know better, okay? But Joe Flacco today, this was the Joe Flacco looked old, looked slow, frankly, just looked tired, overmatched. I mean, whatever word you want to use. That could be the same thing that you can, the same words that you can describe Joe Flacco, you can use to describe the offense. This was an abysmal performance by the offense. Everybody on this offense was abysmal today. Jerry Jeudy's dropping passes left and right again. Cedric Tillman really didn't do anything. He got a lucky touchdown grab because Marlon Humphrey can't catch. Harold Fannin had a couple good plays today. Dylan Sampson was okay. Quinshon Judkins was okay. Outside of that, the offensive line was terrible. Joe Flacco wasn't great. Jerome Ford continues to be absolutely terrible. And the fact that you chose Jerome Ford over Nick Chubb is an absolute fireable offense, in my opinion, by Andrew Berry or whoever. The fact, literally, I want you guys to think about this, okay? Because we're getting 9 viewers in the chat right now. So if you guys, let me hear you guys in the chat. I want to know what you guys think, okay? I kind of want this to be a more open dialogue. And I'll answer some of your questions and all this other stuff in the chat. But the fact that they chose to keep Jerome Ford, who is not a good running back, I would take one-legged Nick Chubb, one-knee Nick Chubb, over Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is not a good NFL running back. He is not. He is a third-string running back. And the Browns decided to keep him over Nick Chubb. That is just crazy to me. You see Jerome Ford, he cannot break tackles. I'm not going to go on like a long tangent about Jerome Ford. I'm just not. I can't do it. I cannot do it. But this whole offense is just, it's in a rut right now. And frankly, I don't see it getting better. And that's the most frustrating part, because I said this before the season started, guys. Expect this to be a 2016-2017 type season from the Browns. Do not expect them to win every game. Do not expect them to don't go into these games thinking that the Browns are going to win, because they're not. That's not what they're trying to do. But to see this, it feels like we're at a point, and it's only 2 games into the season. We're at a point where the Browns are at this crossroads to where you have the Green Bay Packers coming up, where you have Jordan Love, you have Micah Parsons, you have this, the Super Bowl caliber team, and you have an offense that is just abysmal. It's abysmal. It doesn't work. This offense is not working, and that's my issue. The issue that we have is you have Joe Flacco, who can sling it. He can. But every pass seems like it's dink and dunk. It's if anything's not there, throw to the screen, throw out to the flat, throw like a 3-yard crosser or a hitch route or something like that. And the worst part is that after week 1, when that was working, because nobody saw that on tape, nobody saw, hey, we're just going to dink and dunk. We're going to throw these screens, and Dylan Sampson's going to get out there for about 5 yards or 10 yards and get those chunk plays out. That worked in week 1. You saw today. The Rams were all over. Roquan Smith. I mean, my God, poor Dylan Sampson was getting absolutely destroyed by Roquan Smith, because every single time the Browns receivers were not getting open, and that's another issue that we're going to talk about. The Browns receivers were not getting open at all the entire game. I'm glad that the CBS covered it I think it was the 3rd quarter. They were showing Joe Flacco had time in the pocket to throw. Nobody was open. Nobody was open. And that was the problem all game long, is that these guys don't get open. And then when Joe Flacco has to dump it down, there's nowhere to go, because everyone's going to know that, hey, these guys can't get open. If there's nobody open, they're just going to dump it down to the flat or throw it to a screen guy. And all you have to do is just keep a linebacker out there who can tackle. That's all you have to do against the Cleveland Browns. And that's the most frustrating part, because we were told all offseason long that this offense was going to be Kevin Stefanski's offense. This is going to be Kevin Stefanski's, system that Joe Flacco succeeded in. And right now, the system doesn't look good. It's not looking good right now. But that's just me, guys. It's a 10-minute tangent. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'll just read you some of your guys' comments because we got a couple of comments in. Cleveland Sports Rock says, start Dylan Gabriel next week. I think I'm at that point too. I think Dylan Gabriel needs to start. There's no point in seeing Joe anymore. You're at, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions? I think we've seen Joe have success in 2023. I think it's time to see the rookies. And I know they're going to go up against the Green Bay Packers. They have Micah Parsons. They've got, a lot of good guys on defense, but you need to see what these rookies have. You have to see what the rookies have. And Dylan Gabriel, I understand it's garbage time. It means nothing. Dylan Gabriel was able to throw a touchdown pass, okay? Let's see how Dylan Gabriel can respond. Can he lead this offense? Because, my God, somebody has to. Somebody has to. This defense was playing out of its mind. It was playing out of its mind. The defense held the Ravens to 80 yards of total offense in the first half. 80 yards. The Browns sucked on offense, and they outgained them by 40 freaking yards. That's how good the defense was today. And they just didn't do anything on offense. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you, Cleveland Sports Rock. Let's have Dylan Gabriel go out there. Let's see what he can do, because you know what? I'm pretty positive it can't get worse than what we've seen so far. Ryan B, because I live in LA, this is the first year in over 25 years I didn't get Sunday ticket. I have Red Zone channel, but wasn't about to spend $400 to watch this team all year. I don't blame you either. That's what I said. I told you guys before the season started. This is going to be the 2016-2017 season all over again. They're probably going to win less than 5 games. And now, frankly, I think they could win less than 3, because if you see the schedule, what team are they going to beat? What team are they going to beat? I'm going to look up the schedule here really quick on my phone here, because genuinely, what team out of the schedule who they're going to face are they going to beat? Unless some team craps down their leg and just plays the worst game of their career, what team are they going to beat? All right, I'm pulling up the schedule here. All right, so next week, we have the Green Bay Packers at home, okay? I think you can chalk that one up as an L. Even though they don't have Jaden Reed, he's out with a broken collarbone. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be there. Then, week after that, week 4 in Detroit against the Lions. Probably going to lose that one, right? So you're 0-4. Then week 5 in London against the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson. You think this team's going to be able to cover Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson? You think this team's going to be able to cover those guys? I don't think so. Okay, so you're 0-5. Week 6 against Pittsburgh and the Steelers. Defense is great. Browns always suck against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, so you're probably 0-6. Week 7, this one may be interesting. Week 7 against the Dolphins at home. Out of the next 5 games, that is the only one that is winnable so far. So you're looking at potentially October 19th against the Dolphins at home. That's like one of the only winnable games. So you have Packers, Lions, Vikings, basically all of the NFC North besides the Bears, and Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Those are the next 4 games. You think the Browns are going to win any of those games? Let me know in the chat. Do you think we're going to win any of those games? The next 4 games. So the next month. Do you think the Browns are going to win a football game? I don't think so. You get to the Dolphins, week 7, October 19th. Week after that, October 26th, against the Patriots in Foxborough. Drake May looked pretty good today against the Dolphins today. I don't know if they won. I know there was a I know they were down by 3 or up by 3, but yeah, then you get the bye. So you're looking at maybe one out of the next 6 games, 7 games, you're looking at maybe one winnable game. One winnable game out of the next 7 games. This is what I'm saying, guys. This team is not going to go anywhere. We already knew this, but I didn't have them being like almost winless going into the bye week. I'd be shocked if they win more than 2 games. I would be shocked by the bye week and on October 26th. I would be shocked if the Cleveland Browns win 2 or more games by the time the bye week happens. That's sad, man. That's sad. It's sad. Like at some point you just have to go like what else can you say? What else can you say at this point? But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out here on your Sunday. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I kind of want to do more of these streams more. Just do like these live stream shows because I feel like there's a lot I want to say. And rather than, make a video where I have to edit it and that when I don't have time, I can just come down here, do a live stream, make something better. I don't know. It just feels more natural to me. But make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. But I mean, my God, I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, this is rough. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I did not think it was going to be this bad. And I'm honest, I get to the point. I don't know if they're going to win a game by the time the bye week comes. This is rough. It's rough. Joe Flacco, I don't see the reason to play Joe Flacco anymore. I don't see a reason why you have to go play Joe Flacco. And I understand that probably the plan is to have him play the next, I don't know, until maybe Pittsburgh. But what is that going to do? Like, what does that do for the Browns? Genuinely, what does that do for the Browns? To have Joe Flacco go out there when you can have 2 rookies in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, who you're trying to figure out, are these guys going to be backups in the future, or could they just be like good starters for you in the future as like a bridge type situation? You have to figure out something, man. You have to figure out something. And that's my issue, is that right now the Browns just feel like, it just seems like they're just okay with being okay. Not even okay, but they're okay with like keeping them on the sidelines while everything just sucks. Ryan B says it was deflating losing to the Bengals, losing to the Bengals, but in typical Browns fashion, our kicker misses a PAT. Yeah, I know. It was deflating because it's the most typical Browns thing to do. It's the most typical Browns way to lose a football game. And I knew as soon as he missed that extra point, I knew that was going to come back to haunt us. I knew that was coming back to haunt us because you know why? Every single time it does. And I said this too when my family was watching the football game last week. I said, he's going to miss the next kick. He's going to miss the next kick. After watching the Browns for 24 years, like you can predict stuff that's going to happen because it always happens. You can just it's almost like a TV show. It's almost like a scripted TV show. But I mean, I don't know what we're doing here with the Browns. I don't know what the plan is. Harold, I mean, you have guys who your rookies are doing pretty good. Probably outside of Isaiah Bond, who's like kind of just there. I mean, Isaiah Bond's fine. I guess he's not like doing much. Catches like a pass every single week. Everybody else is doing pretty good. Mason Graham looks great. Harold Fanta looks great. Dylan Sampson looks fine. Carson Schwarzenegger looks good. Every one of these rookies looks fine. But why are we just not giving the rookie QBs? Yeah, they're going to probably suck. But guess what? The only thing that you can do in order to make them better is to give them game reps. And for some reason, the Browns are just like, you know what? No, we can't do that. We need to, put Joe Flacco in. Keep Joe Flacco in the game. Why? After watching today, do you guys want to see Joe Flacco next week against the Packers? Or would you rather see Dylan Gabriel, go up against the Packers? Do you guys want to see more of Joe Flacco? Do you guys need to see what Joe Flacco can do, with this offense? Or do you guys want to see Dylan Gabriel? I just, like I said, I don't know what the plan is regarding Dylan Gabriel and the Browns. But man, they got to figure something out because this is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Joe Flacco can go out there and he can, sling it. Yeah, sure, cool. But when you're losing 41-17 or 41-10, sorry, dude. I mean, you played well against the Bengals. And then when the Ravens came to town, you were not good. And I don't know. Again, there's some passes in the first half where I don't know if it was Isaiah Bond or Cedric Tillman who were running corner post routes on the right sideline. And Joe Flacco, I don't know if he was trying to throw it to him or what, but he's throwing passes like 5 yards out of bounds on these two corner post routes. But I think it was Isaiah Bond who was double covered. It's like, what are we doing? And then, I don't know what the offensive game plan is here. I just don't. This offense is not good enough. It's not good enough. Ryan B says, got to see both rookies for sure. Yes, we do. We have to see both rookies. I mean, what more do you have to see from Joe Flacco? What more do you have to see? It's frustrating, man, because last year, Deshaun Watson was legitimately one of the worst quarterbacks the NFL has seen in the last 25 years. Just statistically speaking, he was one of the worst quarterbacks that the NFL has seen in 25 years. And Kevin Stefanski or whoever were like clinging on for dear life to not make sure that Deshaun Watson would stay on that field. They were clinging to stay on that, for him to stay on that field. And it was only then when his Achilles ruptured that they had to bring him out for Jameis Winston. And I am hoping, knock on wood, that Joe Flacco doesn't get hurt. I'm not saying that. But if we have to go through another thing of Joe's our guy, this guy's our guy, we're not going to play a rookie, we're not going to play these rookies, Joe's our guy, blah, 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 blah. At this point, you're just wasting time. You're wasting our time. You're wasting these rookies' time. You're holding on to something that just is not going to work. The plan is not going to work. And that's what I feel like Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have a problem, is when things go wrong outside of their plan or their plan is not working as well as they envisioned. They have a hard time pivoting to something to change or changing their plan or whatever and pivoting to something new that can help the team. I'm trying not to get mad. I'm trying not to get mad. But you guys, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to be a Browns fan. You guys know how it is. It's so frustrating because you know that when Tuesday or Wednesday comes around, when the Browns media staff is going to talk to the Browns about, hey, are you going to let Dylan get a shot? Are you going to let Shador get a shot? You already know the answer is going to be no. Joe's our guy. We're sticking with Joe. Joe's working really hard. He knows what he's done. We're going to watch the tape. We're going to view the tape and all this other stuff. You know that's going to be their answer. And that is going to be so freaking frustrating. I think everyone can agree. Put down in the chat what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We have 11 viewers in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out. But do you guys want to see Joe Flacco next week? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys want to see Joe Flacco against the Green Bay Packers next week? Or do you want to see Dylan Gabriel? I want to know in the chat. Because I said perfectly clear, I want to see Dylan Gabriel. I think it's time to see Dylan Gabriel. And people are going to say that's too early to see Dylan Gabriel. That's too early to, sit Joe or whatever. But at this point, what more do you have to see from Joe Flacco? What more do you have to see? Do you want to see Joe Flacco go out there against the Green Bay Packers and throw, I don't know, 23 of 37 for 245 of touchdown and a pick? Or do you want to see what Dylan Gabriel can do? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. And while you're at it, guys, make sure you hit the like button on the stream. Helps us out in the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button. Also, at the top right of your screen, you see that's my X handle, @WarmedBench on X. That's where I'm active most of the time. So if you guys want to follow what I say in real time to Browns games, that is my X handle. You guys can, what do you call it? You guys can follow me on X @WarmedBench. That is the best way to follow me and my coverage of the Browns all game long. Unfiltered and real. Ryan B says, no joke. Gotta confirm we most likely wasted 2 draft picks on these QBs. I wouldn't go that far as to say we wasted them. I would say that Shador's probably a wasted pick. My feeling, and I said this at the beginning, or I said this a couple videos ago. The Dylan Gabriel pick in the 3rd round, I wanted Jack Sawyer. I wanted Jack Sawyer from Ohio State, the defensive end who's on the Steelers. I feel like with the way that the draft was going, you could have gotten Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders with that 5th round pick, but you could have gotten another defensive end, or you could have gotten a cornerback. Something. And I feel like there's a disconnect between the fans and the Browns as to where are we at in the timeline? Because I feel like in 2016 and 2017, the Browns and the fans knew what the plan was, right? We all remember 2016, 2017, where we knew we were going to suck, but that we were going to suck for a quarterback, and that, DeShone Kizer wasn't good enough. He wasn't the answer. And we're going to go for a quarterback in the next year's draft. This season, I feel like there literally is no plan that Browns fans can latch onto because, one, you spent 2 picks on quarterbacks, on rookie quarterbacks, one of which is a high-profile, I don't want to say diva, but a high-profile QB who you spent in the 5th round, which seemingly seems like the general manager picked him over the head coach. And it seems like a lot of people from the reports have been coming out of Berea that the head coach picked Dylan Gabriel and the general manager picked Shador Sanders. If that is the case, then that shows a division. All right, I don't understand what the plan is. What is what is the plan? And we saw, I don't remember if it was Mary Kay Cabot or who came out with an article basically saying that Andrew Berry sees a roster spot for Shador Sanders on this team. Well, this is my issue. So what does a roster spot mean? You could have Joe Flacco, Shador, Dylan Gabriel, and then, unfortunately, he who should not be named, Deshaun Watson, who could be activated in a couple of weeks, by the way, guys. I hope you guys are prepared for that, for him to come back off the PUP list, because I think if that is the case, Joe Flacco, gone. I think Joe Flacco's gone. They're going to bring back Deshaun Watson. That's all the indications that are coming out that he looks pretty healthy. He's training in the facility. He looks pretty healthy, guys. If that's the case, if Deshaun Watson, I'm saying this right now, if Deshaun Watson plays another snap for the Cleveland Browns, I'm rooting against the Browns 100 times out of 100 times. If Deshaun Watson is playing any snap for the Cleveland Browns, I'm rooting against the Browns. That's just me. Ohio Sportscast, do you expect the Browns to go 0-5 after the Lions, Vikings, and Packers games? Yeah, I said that. We actually, a couple minutes ago, actually maybe 15 minutes ago, I read the next, I think 6 or 7 games. after up to the bye week. We have the Packers, you have the Lions, the Vikings, the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Then you have the Dolphins at home, and then the Patriots, and then you are going into the bye week. So that's 7 games. I'll say it again. Next week you got the Packers. Then you have the Lions in Detroit. You have the Vikings in London. You have the Steelers in Pittsburgh. You have the Dolphins at home, and then you have the Patriots on the road in Foxborough. So that's 8 games right there. Or that's 8 games, not counting today and last week. So it's you're 0-2. The next 6 games. Do you guys think the Browns are going to win one of those 6 games? Because I said the only game that I think could be winnable for the Browns is the Miami Dolphins game, because it's at home. That's the only reason why. It's because it's at home. And Tua Tagovailoa, for some reason, just seems like he cannot play quarterback right now. I don't know if it's brain and scrambled from being all concussed all the time or what. But to answer your question, Ohio Sportscast, I think the Browns are going to be 0-5. I think the Browns, there's a good possibility where I could say the Browns going into the bye week are winless, going 0-7 or 0-8. I genuinely think the Browns could be 0-8 going into the bye week. That's sad. That is sad to say. I don't see offensively where this team can keep up with any other team. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think the Browns are going to be winless going into the bye week? The next 6 games. I'll say it again. Packers at home next week. Lions in Detroit. Vikings in London. Steelers on the road in Pittsburgh. Dolphins at home. Patriots on the road in Foxborough. 6 games right there. Do you think the Browns are going to win one of those next 6 games? I don't. I don't see it. And that sucks to say. But I honestly think we're looking at like another 2-15 season. And that hurts. That hurts to say. But I think we're going 2-15. There is no possible way that the Browns, unless some team inexplicably ruins, just craps their pants, has one of the worst games of all time. In what perceivable world do the Browns win more than 3 or 4 games? I don't see it. Ryan B says, it would be like the Browns to beat a good team. Remember them being the Niners. Yeah, well, see, this is the thing, Ryan. The defense was outstanding. They were outstanding. And they got turnovers. They created turnovers. I think they picked off, and Martin Emerson picked off Brock Purdy, I think, twice. They created turnovers. They created at least 2 turnovers. Your running game was pretty decent. You had Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford. Or no, you had Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, excuse me. But you played, like, your defense played their asses off in that game. Their kicker missed kicks. You forced turnovers. And you basically just scored enough points to make sure you didn't lose. But I mean, do you think this offense is going to score more than 14 points? They can't score 20. Remember last season they couldn't score 20 points. It took them like 11 games to score 20 or more points. It took them until Jameis Winston's first start of the season, like week 8, for them to score 20 points. Do you think this offense, with whoever's at quarterback, is going to score more than like 20 points? No. That's the issue. And the problem is that when the offense sputters, the defense checks out. And we saw it this game. The Browns defense held the Ravens to 80 total yards. They held them at 80 total yards in the first half. The Browns were horrible offensively. Horrible. They outgained them by 40 yards. They had 120 yards of total offense. The Browns did. They outgained them passing. They outgained them running. They had 40 more yards at the end of the first half. Then the Ravens. The Ravens had 10 points. That was because the special teams, and I forgot to mention the special teams because how Bubba Ventrone still has a job is insane to me. But when the offense struggled to get anything going offensively, the defense, you could tell in the second half, was just withering away. They were withering away. It just wasn't working. The whole body language, the whole energy, the vibe shift changed when Joe Flacco threw that pick. When Joe Flacco threw the interception, the Browns had that goal line stand where they forced the Ravens to kick a field goal. They forced them. They had a great defensive stand after giving up that long pass to DeAndre Hopkins that got him down to the 1 yard line. Defense played out of their mind, forced them to a field goal. And then Joe Flacco threw that pick, and then it was all hell broke loose from there. All hell broke loose from there. I think, what was it, like 13-3? So it was 13-3 in like the beginning, I'll say like 10 minutes left in the third quarter. It was 13-3, and the defense gave up 28 points. They gave up 28 points in 25 minutes. That's my issue. That's what I'm saying. You have to have offense. You have to have an offense, or else the defense is going to be like, well, what's the point of trying good if the offense can't do anything? And that's the problem. That's the problem, Ryan. It would be like the Browns to beat a good team. But guess what? The difference between the Browns from 2023 when they beat the Niners and now is that the offense could score points. Could score points. They could move the ball. This offense can't. They can't. And that's the issue. That's the main issue, guys. But once again, guys, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on X at Warren's Bench. It's at the top right of your screen. We'll probably go here for another couple minutes or so. I feel like I've gotten most of what I wanted to say out. I know it's been a long stream. One thing I really wish I could do, or I kind of want to figure out how I can do it, is to get like a phone line in here. Because I feel like if I could get a phone line in here and hear you guys talk, even like a Discord thing, if I can figure out how to do that, and just like talk to you guys like it's a radio show, it'd be freaking cool. I wish I could do that. Ryan B. True. Was just about to write that. Remember the screaming people could hear from the locker room? Yeah. That's what they did. It was against the Ravens, too. Like 2 years ago. Or no, it was 3 years ago. It was 2022, I think. Because I'm trying to remember the story. I remember it was like Mary Kay Cabot or somebody wrote the story. And I think it was Jadeveon Clowney who was screaming. But again, it's just, there's just so much dysfunction with this team. And the problem that the Browns have, the defense looks great. The defense is outstanding. This offense has to go to the drawing board again because this offense is not working. It hasn't worked for over a year. Last season, it was horrible. This season, it's not looking much better. And I don't know what can be changed other than you have to play Dylan Gabriel. And I know they're probably going to say it's too early. Like I said, they probably have a plan. It's the greatest plan. It's the greatest plan in the history of plans because Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry drew up this plan and nobody else and ever in the NFL history ever could write up this plan. And we're just going to keep throwing Joe Flacco out there for another 5 games while, we don't know what's going on with the rookie quarterbacks. And, the only way that any of these rookie quarterbacks could possibly get better is to throw them out there for game reps. But That's not our plan. That's not our plan. Joe Flacco's our plan. That's not a good plan, guys. It's not a good plan. The plan isn't working. The plan is not working. So we'll see what they're going to do. We'll see what they do this week. I hope that they decide, hey, let's give Dylan a shot. I don't think that's going to be the case. If I'm just being honest, I think they're going to say, we're going to go out there with Joe. Joe's going to go out there and still be Joe and sling it around the field. I think that's what they're going to say. And unfortunately, either Joe is going to have to suck unbelievable and just be so totally ass to where he is benched, or he's going to have to be hurt like Deshaun Watson was hurt for them to make a change. That is the scariest part, guys. That's the scariest part. And that's the part I'm dreading the most. And I hope that that's not the case. I hope that's not the plan to where they just, put Joe out there no matter what. But, I mean, what have they shown me or you or anybody that they're willing to move off of their plan? They're just not. So I think we're going to have to settle with Joe Flacco playing next week. Dylan Gabriel will, suit up and see what's going on. And Shedeur Sanders will have a backwards cap and an earpiece in his ear. And he'll sit on the sidelines and wish he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Because that's another thing, man. That story by Adam Schefter, I don't know if you guys saw that. But this morning, Adam Schefter broke the news that the Ravens actually were planning to take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. And Shedeur said, "Don't draft me. I do not want to be a backup." I mean, if you're Shedeur Sanders, where do you get off, man? You don't want to be drafted as a backup to Lamar Jackson and to John Harbaugh and the Ravens, who haven't had a horrible quarterback in 20 years. You don't want to go to that organization? You're okay with going to the Cleveland Browns as a 3rd stringer? That's nuts. Ryan B., he just needs to throw 4 picks in a game and maybe pick 6. Yeah, I mean, maybe. What's up, Brett? Bench is back, baby. Yes, I am, sir. Yes, I am. And again, I'll just say this. I don't mean to go on long hiatuses, but talking about off-season football or just off-season sports in general is like the most mind-numbingly boring, repetitive thing ever. And I know that you guys, I would probably be a lot more, I don't want to say successful. I'd have a lot more subscribers if I was consistent. But how many videos do you guys want to see of Shedeur Sanders said this in practice? Or are the Browns going to get this receiver because one, random reporter said so? Or, this or that? No. Nobody, who? No. How many videos do you guys want to see of that? It's just, I feel like that's just so, it's so boring. It's repetitive. It's mind-numbing. It's there's just no substance to it. I feel like this right now when we're in the football season, this is when stuff is important. This is when stuff is important to talk about. Not do you expect Cedric Tillman to catch 1,600 yards and stuff like that? Or how many yards do you think Joe Flacco will throw for? Do you want to listen to that? So that's why I go on long hiatuses, because it's just it's not fair to you to have to sit through this stuff. I mean, I understand why people do it, because they have to do it. You have to say something. But I don't want to call out names, but there's certain Cleveland sports shows that do stuff just because it's content and because it fills time. And I feel like it's just insulting to you guys. It's insulting to the hosts. It's insulting to anybody who just wants to, talk about the Browns, because it's not important. It's just not. And how many times do you want to hear the same things over and over and over again? But thank you. I appreciate it, Brett. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow me on X at Warren Bench on X. You guys can follow me and follow along to all of my commentary on the Browns as it happens. So make sure you guys do that. Yeah, I want to see. Do you guys have anything else you guys want to say in the chat? We're up to 45 minutes here in the chat, or in the stream, I should say. Let's see what you guys say in the chat. What do you guys think about the Browns? I want to hear what you guys think. Like I said, I wish I could do a call-in thing, a phone number, so you guys can call in. Because I feel like that would be pretty interesting. But let me know what you guys think in the chat. What do you guys think about the Browns? We talked about the next 6 games for the Browns. If they are going to win a single game until the bye week. If you guys have just joined, we have the Packers next week, the Lions the week after, the Vikings in London, Steelers at home on the road in Pittsburgh, and then you have the Dolphins at home, and then the Patriots on the road at Foxborough. That's the next 6 games until the bye week. Do you guys think the Browns will win a single game out of those next 6? A lot of people, including myself, say no. I say no. And I think there's a real possibility and a real chance that the Browns go 0-8 going into the bye week. But let me know what you guys think down in the chat. And once again, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow me on X. But, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else I could say. Ryan B, just sick and tired of supporting this team. I was born in San Diego. I should just become a Chargers fan. Well, yeah, I mean, it's another team that's been, what do you call it, stolen from Spanos. You'll probably have a lot of a fun time, more of a fun time being a Chargers fan than a Browns fan, because at least you guys go to the playoffs, but you guys won't win. The Chargers just, they go to the playoffs and then they suck. Not Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert is like the king of what if for the quarterback tier. It's him and Joe Burrow are like the what if tier of quarterbacks. Chris Sorella, thank you for chiming in. They beat the Dolphins and that's it. Yeah, like that's my only winnable game I see too. That's my winnable game too. I said the same thing. The only reason why I say they could beat the Dolphins is because it's at home, and Tua Tagovailoa is unbelievably bad, and I don't understand if it's just because of all the CTE he's getting because of those concussions or what. They only win 4 games all year. I mean, I honestly think it's going to be lucky if we win 4 games. I genuinely think. I don't see this team winning more than maybe 2 games, 3 games maybe. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be like emotional in the moment. But if you watch and look at the schedule, how many winnable games do you see going forward with this offense and the special teams too? With this offense and special teams, you're failing at 2 of the 3 facets of the game. How many wins do you see on the Browns schedule? Because the next 6 games, we said there's only 1 winnable game potentially. Even then, I think it's a 50-50 shot. Even then, I think it's a 50-50 shot the Browns win that one. And that's being generous. But what's going on, C? Nice to see you. They beat the Jets, Titans, and the Bengals backups in Week 18. I hate to say it. I think the Bengals backups are better than the Browns starters, man. I think they're better than the... Jake Browning, I think, is okay. You know how sad it is that the backup quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals is probably the better than all 3 quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Jake Browning went into the game today after Joe Burrow got hurt because his offensive line can't protect him. He went in there and he won the game in a shootout with the Jacksonville Jaguars. How is that possible? How is that possible? So that's the worst part. Jake Browning is probably the best quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. The Jets one could be interesting. That's probably another game they can win. The Titans, I'm actually planning on going to the Titans game to see Cam Ward. So yeah, I mean, outside, okay, you have those are 2 wins. 2 wins right there. That's why I said 2-15. I'd be surprised if they win more than 4. But yeah, it's sad, guys. I said this, like I said, I've said it multiple times. This is a 2016-2017 season over again. Do you not expect them to win 6, 7, 8 games? I saw some people were like, "Oh, this team could be a dark horse for the playoffs and could go and win 9 games this year." I'm like, who in their right mind thought who would think that? Who in their right mind would think that? Okay, no, this team. This is a rebuilding season. This is 2017, where you have DeShone Kizer, who you knew wasn't going to be the guy going forward. You have Myles Garrett. You have all these different pieces and parts around the team that you're building, and it leads you to picking the quarterback in the first round. Now, the other thing here, too, is that a lot of the quarterbacks in college haven't really been impressing people. And I said that, I tweeted that out, too, yesterday, because I feel like a lot of Browns fans and a lot of the Browns media are expecting Andrew Luck or 2019 Joe Burrow to come out of this class. That ain't happening. And I wanted to make a video about the college quarterbacks that I like for the Browns. I guess I'll just name them right here since I'm already here with you guys. And thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate all of the support. Right now, I'd say my top 3 for guys who I'm very interested in for the Browns. Fernando Mendoza. I think he's been looking really good. Lenoir Sellers, I know that he's been struggling so far this season, but my God, the kid is so freaking talented. He is 6'3", 245, has a giant arm, and is like a 4.5 speed. John Mateer from Oklahoma. He is basically a more athletic version of Baker. He's like the improvisation of Patrick Mahomes with the moxie of Baker Mayfield. That's John Mateer. So those are my 3 guys right now for the Browns. And like I said, this is the 2017 season for the Browns. They are building up a talent around the quarterback, trying to build up the team. And I tried to warn people. I said this was going to happen. And a lot of people were trying to be optimistic, saying that the Browns were going to be, win 6 or 7 games. And, it's not going to happen, folks. We are looking at probably another 3-14, 2-15 season. That's how we're looking at it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. We may be wrapping up here in a couple minutes, but is there anything else that you guys want to talk about in the chat? Put it down in the chat box below. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe. Follow me on X at Warren Bench. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate it after a crappy Sunday game against the Ravens. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I feel like I've said everything. Seth Marie, it was some fans that wanted Joe Flacco back so bad they're partially to blame. I mean, I don't think the fans made anything. The fans did not make the decision. The fans didn't make the decision to bring back Joe Flacco. I mean, Joe Flacco was the last guy for the Browns to play good at quarterback. And, going back to Kevin's offense, or at least what we thought was Kevin's offense, going back to his style of offense where Joe Flacco had a lot of success, many people thought that there could be some magic that could be rediscovered there. And I think that the last 2 games have showed us that that was probably lightning in a bottle in 2023. I think it was lightning in a bottle. And I don't think that, I just don't think that the magic is there anymore. I think Joe Flacco looks old. He looks slow. He looks, he looks like a veteran quarterback. He looks like a 40-year-old man out there. I mean, what else do you want to, what else can you say about Joe Flacco? He looks like he's 40. He looks 40. He knows that when something's not there downfield, you check it down. And that's what he does a lot. And that's the problem that the Browns are having because none of their receivers are getting open. No one's getting open on this team. Jerry Jeudy can't get open. Cedric Tillman can't get open. Harold Fannin can't get open. Njoku can't get open. Isaiah Bond can't get open. Nobody can get open. Jamari Thrash can't get open. Nobody can get open on this freaking football team except for the running back Dylan Sampson or Jerome Ford when they get absolutely lit up by Roquan Smith in the backfield. Those are the only guys who get open. Those are the only guys that get open. And that's what I've been saying for the last 56 minutes here is the Browns have an offensive problem. And they got to go back to the drawing board because their plan is not working. And that's why I do want to see Dylan Gabriel next week. But if I'm going off of history and what the Browns kept Deshaun Watson. Like I said, the Browns kept Deshaun Watson as a starting quarterback for 8 weeks when he was statistically one of the worst quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen in 25 years. Statistically, he was one of the worst quarterbacks of the last 25 years last year. And the Browns made him start 8 games. That's who we're dealing with, guys. That's who we're dealing with. And I've said this multiple times. I feel like unless Joe Flacco goes out there next week and throws 4 interceptions or gets hurt, he's going to continue to go out there. And I do not see the benefit of having Joe Flacco out there when you need to see what one of these rookies have, in terms of potential. Can these guys be a bridge quarterback option? Can these guys be a good option? Can these guys be a Brock Purdy? Can these guys be, I don't know what, a Dak Prescott who's taken in the 3rd round or the 4th round? Can one of these guys be that? Well, you have to put them out there to play in order to figure that out. And that's why I get so frustrated with the Browns is because they come up with these plans, and then when the stuff is not working in their plan, they don't know how to pivot. And that's the issue. So I hope that they can pivot. I hope that they can do something. Because for the love of God, something has to change. Because what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks hasn't been working that well. DRF834, thank you for chiming in. The Texans signed Chubb for $5 million. He would have stayed with the Browns for $3 million. I rest my case. Fire Barry and Stefanski, please. I'm not there on Stefanski yet. I'm not there yet on Stefanski. I still like Stefanski as a coach. Andrew Berry, I am not there on. I am out on Berry. This draft class is probably his best draft class so far. I'll give him credit for that. But I think Stefanski is a good offensive mind. Is he a good head coach? I do not know. That's, I think, what we have to figure out. I'm not there yet on Stefanski in terms of firing him. I think I'm giving him 1 or 2 more shots. But he is on a short leash. I will say that. They better find a quarterback next season, because if they don't, oh my God, we are in trouble, even more so than what we are now. And I said that before, DRF. The fact that they decided to keep Jerome Ford on this football team instead of Nick Chubb as like a 3rd running back makes no freaking sense. No freaking sense at all. Jerome Ford legitimately is one of the worst running backs I've seen play football. He's one of the worst running backs. He cannot shake off contact. He is horrible. Once he gets touched, he goes down. He cannot get out of tackles. He cannot break, he cannot get out into space. There's nothing. And the fact that the Browns decided to keep him instead of Nick Chubb, I really do feel like if the Browns kept Nick Chubb over Jerome Ford and you had a running back room of Chubb, Judkins, and Sampson, that's a pretty potent running back room. That's a really potent running back room. And you're not giving Chubb like 20 carries or 15 carries. You're going to give Chubb like maybe 8 to 9 carries. Like, where I don't understand why they just didn't do that, but whatever. DRF goes on again and says, no O-line, no running game, no special teams, just like last year. Yeah. For the last 2 games, yes. I agree with that. I think there was a lot more positives coming out of last week, except for the special teams. The special teams continues to look like hot garbage. How Bubba Ventrone is still employed by the Browns, I do not have any idea. None of his kickers have looked great except for Dustin Hopkins in 2023. And the special teams has looked downright terrible for most of the time that he's been here. I do not understand why he's here. He'll probably still be here for the rest of the season. I would not be shocked if he's, let go at the end of the season. But yeah. The O-line, I said this too. Like a lot of people said last week that DeJuan Jones had a great game. DeJuan Jones had like 6 penalties last week. I don't know who said he had a great game, and then everyone was like, yeah, he did. He had a pretty good game. No, he didn't. Yeah, because he didn't give up pressures. Okay, fine, sure. He also had like 4 holding penalties and like 2 false starts. And the same thing was this week too. He had a couple penalties. He kept going out. They kept shuffling him with one other left tackle the entire game. And frankly, the matter is, guys, the O-line is just old. They're old. They're slow. They're injury prone. Joel Bitonio's like 34. He's up there. This is probably it for him. Ethan Posich is like 30, 31. He's getting up there too. Wyatt Teller, same thing, like 30, 31. And Jack Conklin's just made of glass. I mean, every week 1, Jack Conklin's hurt. So, again, it's the O-line definitely needs tweaking. I would love if the Browns could draft Spencer Fano from Utah. That guy's a stud of a tackle. So if they decided to do that in the draft, I wouldn't have any issues with that. But it all compounds with each other when you say no O-line, no running game. I mean, those two have to be in sync with each other in order for anything to happen, man. And that's the problem, is that nothing's working right now. Nothing, at least, when you're playing the Packers with Micah Parsons, dear Lord, pray for Joe Flacco if he's playing next week. Because if Micah Parsons is going up against, if it's Jack Conklin or Cornelius Lucas, for the love of God, everyone, no matter your religion, pray for Joe Flacco next week when he has to go up against Micah Parsons. Seth Marie says, at least think about playing Shador very soon. He would definitely create media and fan interest at the very least. Shador is not playing. Guys, Shador's not playing. Dylan Gabriel would have to tear his ACL, and Joe Flacco would have to either die on the spot or would have to get hurt for Shador Sanders to play football for the Cleveland Browns this season. It's just not happening. He's not going to jump Dylan Gabriel unless they play Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel looks so unbelievably ass, and Joe Flacco is hurt after Dylan Gabriel is so unbelievably ass for Shador Sanders to play football for the Cleveland Browns this season. Shador Sanders is not playing football for this team, guys. We have to come to terms with it as Browns fans, as Shador fans, that Shador Sanders is not going to play football this season for the Cleveland Browns. It's not happening. Would it create fan interest and media interest? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. It's not happening. Shador's not ready. Shador's just not ready. He's not there yet. We saw it the last preseason game. He has bad habits that need to be corrected. It's not, he's not ready yet. And it's fine. Because you know what, guys? And I don't understand why people are all upset that Shador Sanders is not going to play. Because you know what? Patrick Mahomes didn't play his first season in Kansas City. He sat behind Alex Smith for a year. And then they traded Alex Smith to the Redskins. And then Patrick Mahomes became the best quarterback of this generation. DRF, my God, man, it's Stefanski. Dump him and Barry now. I'm not there on Stefanski yet. I think Stefanski has had 9 different quarterbacks in the last 2 seasons. He's gone to the playoffs twice. He went to the playoffs in 2023 with 5 different NFL quarterbacks. He had a winning record with P.J. Walker. He had a winning record with P.J. Walker. And then they brought in Joe Flacco off the streets, and they went 4-1. He's a good coach. He had a top 5 offense with Jacoby Brissett. He is a good coach. The Browns front office, like Andrew Berry, this is why I'm out on Andrew Berry, have to give him the tools to have a successful team. And the problem is that they haven't done that. Everything that they have done in terms of trades outside of the Jerry Jeudy trade and the Amari Cooper trade, all of the trades that they have made have been bad. That's just the fact. It's just the fact. Because getting rid of Baker was a mistake. We'll probably never know who was the person that signed off on it. So that's why I'm more willing to fire Andrew Berry than Kevin Stefanski. I think Andrew Berry has had really horrible drafts up until this year. I think he's had pretty bad drafts. He's had 1 or 2 good players out of every draft. This draft seems to be like his best draft yet. I'll give him credit for that. But personnel-wise, the receiving core has gotten worse since he's been here. The quarterback room has gotten worse since he's been here. Everything has gotten worse since he's been here. And that is on him. Kevin Stefanski can't do anything about the personnel that the Browns get. It's Andrew Berry in the front office. So that's why I put more of the onus of why the Browns suck more on Andrew Berry, who makes the personnel decisions on, who the Browns play, on who the Browns get off a draft, off of free agency, the trade market. All that stuff is Andrew Berry. Kevin Stefanski can only take the ingredients that he is given and make something good come out of it. And the truth of the matter is that the stuff that Andrew Berry has given Kevin Stefanski is not good enough. It's just not good enough. Duranko Gamer, or is it Dr. Ronco? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Can we please just be done with Jerome Ford? Stop putting him on the field, play Sampson and Judkins. I agree. I said that multiple times during the stream, man. I've said that multiple times. The Jerome Ford experiment is over. I am done with it. I've been done with it for the last 2 years. 2023, he was awful. 2024, he was awful. This year, he's been awful. I don't know what the Browns see in him that they continue to put him out there. I don't get it. I don't understand why they couldn't just re-sign Nick and make him, a third running back on this team with Judkins and Sampson. I just don't understand. I feel like if you had Nick Chubb on this team, it would have been a way more potent running attack. I mean, for the love of God, the guy had 7 missed tackles last week against the Rams. He still has the ability to shake guys off and to make guys miss. Apparently, that's not good enough. And again, I put that on Andrew Berry, DRF, hence why I am more willing to fire Andrew Berry than Kevin Stefanski. Because if you have 9 different quarterbacks, what do you expect the guy to do? The guy is a good coach. Everybody around the league, everybody in the media can see, or at least outside of Cleveland, because I feel like Cleveland, we have this bubble of malice and discontent, all right, around the Browns, and it's not without merit. But everybody around the league can see Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. He's just not given the right tools to win with. That's why I push back on the fire Stefanski brigade, because I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's great. Don't get me wrong. There are some things that I think his clock management is not great. I still think he's a little bit too over aggressive at times. I don't think he's like an elite coach. I think he's a good coach. And I would rather have him than Zach Taylor on the Bengals. A lot of people in Cincinnati want Zach Taylor fired. I'd rather have Stefanski than Zach Taylor. I just think Kevin Stefanski is more like a middle-of-the-road coach. He's good. He's a good coach. But that's just me. That's my tangent. But yeah, no, I'm done with the Jerome Ford experiment. Jerome Ford, I'm done. I'm done with it. And it's just, I don't get it. Dr. Ronco Gamer, we need to draft a wide receiver this draft badly. Yeah, I mean, the problem, though, with that is there's like maybe one or two wide receivers that are going to be available in this draft. The real one is 2027. Because if you got Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, oh my God, you want to talk about Hall of Fame caliber wide receivers. You need to tell me that you can get either Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith in next 2027's draft. Mother of God. If the Browns, okay. If the Browns let's say this. The Browns get, let's say, Lenore Sellers, because I'm high on Lenore Sellers. The Browns draft Lenore Sellers and Spencer Fano or the tackle from Miami or Caleb Downs as their next pick, right? And the Browns are able to get another first-round pick for the 2027 draft. Well, if I get two first-round picks for 2027, would you not want to go and get Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams if you're available? If you could do that, if you could do that, this is like my Madden brain. This is Madden brain coming in. But would you do that? Ryan Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Jeremiah Smith, mother of God, what a trio! What a trio! I wish that, but no, I don't. I just don't see. I don't see a receiver in this draft class so far that I like. Maybe I don't know if Carnell Tate comes out this season or not. Or maybe next season. I don't know. But yeah, the Browns need receiving help badly. And again, I put that on Barry. That's Barry's fault. But once again, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on X at Orange Bench. That's where you guys can follow me and my reactions in real time to the Browns games and any sort of Cleveland sporting event. Make sure you guys do that. Yes, I would want Smith more than Williams. Yeah, I could agree with that. I think Ryan Williams is younger, but Jeremiah Smith is just out of his mind. And I honestly, if there's not a quarterback that shocks people, like has like a 2019 Joe Burrow season, he could very well be the number one pick in 27. I can see that. I can very well see that. But yeah, no, I just, what do you call it? Those two guys are just fan-friggin-tastic, man. They're so good. They're so good. I'm trying to think about what else. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of what else I can say, guys. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. This has been fun. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. I really appreciate you guys coming out. and being, with all the interest in that in the chat. I really appreciate it, guys. Once again, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. I'm trying to think of any final thoughts we could say before we wrap this up because we've been going. Yeah, I mean, just to recap, I guess TLDR if you came in late. Browns have to start. I don't think they have to, but I would love to see Dillon Gabriel start next Sunday against the Packers. I think that is probably the best move or the right move for the Browns in the offense. They need something to juice them to get the offense moving and humming along again. They have to do that. I think they need to fix the receiving core. Something has to happen because these guys are not getting open. And they have to either go back to the drawing board with some of the plays that they're calling or the routes that they're running. But this game showed they're not getting open. And we're way too reliant on checkdowns and screen passes because the Ravens were able to sniff it out like that. Roquan Smith was feasting tonight. He was feasting on those screen passes. So defenses are going to be able to tell and to figure your offensive game plan out is, okay, take away the receiving core, force them to go down, check down to the flat, and we're going to be right there. You can't be that predictable on offense. That's why I'm hoping Dillon Gabriel starts on Sunday. You got to shake something up because this offense cannot continue like this. You're going to be a 1-16 team. We covered the schedule up until the bye week. I think that the Browns could easily be winless going up into the bye week. I think they could be 0-8 going into the bye week. We've talked about how the Dolphins game could be the game that could flip it. Yeah, I mean, they need to fix something, man. Special teams needs to be fixed too. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of fires in the Browns' house right now, and I just don't feel like there's enough water to put out the fires this season. And it's the sad part. It's a sad part, but I think we're gonna call it there. I think that's a good enough. I appreciate you guys coming out here on your Sunday. Thank you guys so much for all the support and the interaction. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Follow me on X at Warmed Bench. Make sure you guys do that. I'm going to try and do more of these live streams. I think this is probably the format I like the most. I like doing these live streams a lot. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section or in the chat below. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. We'll see you guys in another stream. Make sure you guys come back next Sunday after the Browns-Packers game. We'll be doing another one of these post-game shows. And thank you guys so much for coming.